All right. I'm just going to wait for you guys to log in. A couple of you had already messaged me about wrapping some things up and maybe hopping on a little late. So that's okay. I'm going to take these off. I've got a fan blowing. It probably looks like I'm in like some music video because I last night, if you're not in this area of Missouri, we are under a heat advisory, and we got over 100 degrees yesterday, excuse me. We are advised that we are going to be under a heat advisory for the next 2 days, over 100-degree weather. And I got my air ducts cleaned out yesterday, and they have to turn your thermostat, turn it all off while they're doing that and cleaning all that out, which was really exciting because I like clean. And it was hot. It was off for a little while and the temperature just was climbing. And so it got a little warm in my house, but I was not worried. Jasmine and I went to the pool. We hung out there, got a little suntan while my house cooled down. And I figured by the time we got back, it would be nice and cool. It was like 78 degrees. So down from 82 to 78, it was going just fine. And then the temperature started to climb again. And lo and behold, my heat pump was not working outside. It was over 85 degrees in my house upstairs. Downstairs is really, really cold. So we've got this amazing basement that just is freezing. Like I would think you could probably see your breath every time you walk down there, but I only have one thermostat, so it controls the entire house. So I was like, well, we have the basement. We put on the queen mattress up, and we tried staying upstairs in my bed because we love my bed, but we just couldn't do it. It was so hot, so hot. And we like being under blankets. So we go downstairs, we do all that and sleep, put on the attic fan. It's pulling enough cool air in where it's keeping it kind of under control. And then I was first thing this morning up trying to figure out what was going on. The same power goes to the plug-in for my car. And so I noticed that wasn't charging either. So I think that was a blessing because it narrowed down the fact that it's not my AC unit. It is the power being, transported to the heat pump outside. So I have an old house. So it has part breaker box, part fuse box. So the part of the fuse box is what controlled the AC unit. So like, it's literally like this brick you have to pull out, and it's got 250 amp, looks like shotgun shells that are in that brick that you can pull out and push back in. So I grabbed that. I had to Lowe's or Menards. They don't have any, there's like nothing in the fuse area. They're like, yeah, it's kind of a shortage of supply. And I'm like, oh crap. I hope I can actually find this. I'm running around town trying to get my AC working before it gets to 90 degrees, which was like before 9 a.m. So I am like, thank goodness I have a fast car. So I call Lowe's. I'm like, please tell me you have this type of fuse. And he's like, oh yeah, looking at a bunch of them. I run over there. He changes them all out. He even got to check the fuse. That was the old fuses. Cause I like, can you just confirm that these are dead? Because if these are still live and good, I have a different problem on my hands. And he tested one completely dead, tested the other barely registering. So he changed them out for me. I just take the thing, go home, I pop it in, and boom, everything starts to work. My car starts to charge. So grateful. And it is still like 78 degrees in my house. That's why I have fans under here. I have fans going on all around me. Jasmine's in the basement because it stays really nice and cold down there. And we are so grateful that by 10 a.m. we have AC going on. It will probably still take all day to keep my house under a certain temperature. So all that being said, I was just telling a friend of mine, I love figuring out things on my own. Maybe it's just the independent Aquarius in me, but I love knowledge. I love growing. I love figuring things out. I used to own a salon and spa, and I operated that thing by myself. I did not have help. I had a few people help me, but for the most part, if I did not ask for specific help, no one was tag teaming that with me. And so I was tearing down walls, building walls, ripping up floors, tearing out sinks, putting in new things, all on my own while having a newborn. My third son was born at the end of the month of that I had bought the salon. So I learned how I was learning a lot of things that I didn't know how to do. And it was really, I love learning. I love growing. It doesn't scare me anymore to come across something that I don't know anything about. And, I liken that to this program even. This is a new lifestyle, new way of living. And it's the unknown, and is this going to work for me? Yeah, sure, she gets results and she's doing this, but can I do what she's doing? Can I even do half of what, there's all this limiting belief and all of these thoughts that go on in our minds. And it's what really keeps us from making those decisions. You guys made a decision, which I'm so proud of, even not knowing, every step of the way, very much trusting me and knowing that I've got you. I am here with you, walking beside you, sitting shotgun, like all of the things that you need to navigate. You have a partner, and tapping into that partner is a big, big part of this program. And so when I posted about this call, I understand people can't make the live, and that's fine. It's in the late morning and we have different time zones. And I didn't post that to shame anyone if you weren't able to make the call, but I posted it because I too struggle when I might not be doing some of the steps that I know I need to be doing. And I may not be showing up every day in my business the way that I think I'm supposed to. So to hop on my business support calls with my coach sometimes is like, I want to just curl under a rock and hide, because I may not be implementing all of the tools at this moment, But as I have been a part of her group for over a year now, I know that she's a safe place. Those groups are safe places. And one of the other things that really made me nervous about getting on those support calls was I was going to be challenged. And I was already in an overwhelmed state. And so to then hop on a call that would make me feel even, in my mind, make me feel even more overwhelmed, or, oh, I'm not doing all these things, plus I need to do this, and this. But that never has been the case. There has always been a sense of relief and energized. I felt an energy was infused in my business and in my passion for my business and for my fitness, even for my own journey. The unknown can be scary. It's because we don't know how challenging it's going to be. But if I look back and I remember and recall all of the challenging things I have gone through in my life, and that's a lot of scary, unknown, it looks pretty bleak situation. I survived. I did not just survive it. I found a way to use it as a stepping stone to level up. So as you are doing this journey, I just want you to be encouraged that what feels like a setback or challenge is not setting you back. It is leveling you up. So running into scheduling issues, running into getting all the meals in a day, running into maybe not getting the workouts in that you need to. That is just coming on these or listening to these in the replay is a way we can hold a mirror up to ourselves and be like, hey, what are you doing? You know better. You've got this. We committed to doing these things. Why are we not following through? Why are we not keeping our word to ourselves? It's not keeping your word to me. It's keeping your word to yourself, because this is for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for the growth and the challenges and the support that you need to face these. It really is our mind. It is the limiting beliefs that we have. And a belief is just a thought we keep thinking over and over. And it's changing and shifting those to a place where there's more possibility and there's more excitement and a growth mindset. You guys have been in this long enough. You've taken the quiz. Are you a growth mindset? Are you a fixed mindset? One of the biggest things that you can do to change from the fixed to the growth is putting the word yet behind every single statement that you have. I'm not doing all the things that I know I need to do yet. I'm not getting all the meals in a day yet. I'm not lifting as heavy as I feel like I should be by now yet. And that yet is opportunity. That yet is this step, these little steps, so you can step up on it and be like, okay, don't you have clarity there? There's clarity in that type of acknowledgement. Not eating, what is it this week that we need support on? I haven't been doing this. Okay, let's focus on doing that. How can we do that? What's a practical way that we can apply doing that? Prepping our meals beforehand, maybe making that meal one the night before, every single night this week. Maybe it is rearranging something to where you can eat that meal during the time that you need to. It's not totally out of the question to change something in your schedule if you could. Say you take a class, or you and a friend get together, or you have an appointment on a standing basis, that there could be another time that you do that and you could accomplish the same thing. And that would not only give you still that meeting of whatever that is, but it would help support you doing this thing you committed to doing in this plan. So I just encourage you, just think outside the box. Think of not limiting beliefs or limiting things in your life that are limiting you, but look at things like, could that shift? And if it can't, why? And there usually is always this limiting belief surrounding why we think that can't change. And so understanding that this is challenging you to change some of the lifestyle choices that you're making outside of this program. And so if it's your husband and you, or your partner and you, go out and have your favorite restaurant every Friday night, and then you go do this every Saturday. Or I know a lot of lake living is happening right now, and there's not a lot of prep going on around that, or there's snacking, there's a lot of peer pressure, there's drinking, there's all kinds of behaviors that are not supporting the decision that we've made. And so I really challenge you to see if that's something that you can change to help support you. In that book, Atomic Habits, it talks about creating an environment to where it supports your success. A lot of the time, like addicts, they go to rehab, they're gone out of that environment where they used all the time, and they get better, and they are clean and sober for 6 months, 8 months, however long it is. And the biggest thing is the transition out of the rehab into their regular, normal, real world life. And the second they step back into that environment where they had that other behavior, that's a trigger, and they can fall off the wagon and they can lose their sobriety for that moment. that is the Atomic Habits is a huge proponent of changing your environment. Maybe not going and doing this certain thing. If it's, I grabbed the wrong things at the grocery store, create a list, commit to not letting yourself get anything else other than what's on the list, and Oreos and Nutter Butters and ice cream and all of these things that we might say we need for our family, but then we are subject to eating that as well. Chips or whatever it is that you know is not serving your goal. Write yourself a list. This is the best thing to do. Just go online and get the list and have it delivered, or go for pickup. I'm telling you, there are so many ways that you can prevent yourself from walking up and down those aisles and being tempted. You can order online anywhere and you can go pick it up and they will bring it right to your car. So you do not even have to look at all of those things that you would consider your weaknesses. What's another? I create, my home is very much set up to support my goals. I mean, can you see this? This is the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning. I have another sign in my bathroom that says, "You did not wake up to be a weak ass bitch." Pardon the French, but that is above my toilet because that is what I want to be reminded of. And it's just in my bathroom, like no one's going to see it, but I see it. I am surrounding myself with reminders, with things that are constantly being sunk into my brain about what it is I'm here to do and what it is that I decided and committed to myself to do. And it is no longer, I don't feel like it. It's no, you did. I don't feel like it most of the time. I just don't. I don't feel like eating that chicken or that fish. I don't feel like going to the gym. Trust me, I am not this weird psycho person who just doesn't care about any other thing but going to the gym. Do I love the gym? Yes, but it is not convenient. It is not something that I necessarily want to go do over going to the lake or going to a pool with my kids or sitting and watching and binging Netflix. It is not. But I've created a habit. It is a habit that serves me. And when you continue to do these things and you are getting the results, that's where the motivation comes from. But it's a different kind of motivation. It's not an emotional whim feeling. It's, ooh, I got that result. Ooh, I'm going to do more of that. What more can I do? Can I do even more? Can I turn it up? Can I dial that up a little bit? Ask yourself, you guys, your check-ins came through, and I'm telling you, I'm so proud of so many of you that it's like, why wouldn't you want to continue this process? Why wouldn't this excite you and light a fire up under you and tell you, I can do this. This is possible. Like, this just keeps getting better and better and better. And that's just something to be able to get a result, be pleased with where you are, but have this excitement of growth is the sweet spot, that sweet spot. I love where I'm at. I'm comfortable. I love my fitness. I love my body. Even the soft parts of it, even the loose skins of it, even the cellulite and the veins. And I posted something in the Flab to Fab group about all of these things that I have. You know, it's not perfect by any means, but I love my body. I love it. And a big reason why I love it so much is because I did it. I worked and I earned this. And there's just something to be said about putting your mind to something and doing it and committing and being disciplined enough to continue doing it, knowing in theory, this is the result I should be getting when I do this over and over again, but still not having the manifestation of it. And then keeping your eye so on that prize that the manifestation finally comes. And it's like, I knew it. I knew if I did these things, then this would come. And did it come in the time frame I wanted it? No. Oh my gosh, no. I thought it might even take even a few more years to get my body and myself just inside and out where I am. And of course, I feel like I am chasing certain things. There are people that I see that 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 inspire me. And I'm like, wow, I want to go after that. But there's also what I used to be. And now my old self said, I want that to who I am today. So it just is this snowball effect of continuing to burn this fire in you brighter and brighter, but it does not burn without you fueling it. You must fuel it. So what is your physical diet, but what is your mental diet? What are you putting in your mind? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Are you supporting yourself in that area? Are you allowing people to give you doubt and discouragement and negativity? Are you exposing yourself to those people? And are you not creating the strong boundary that you need to say, you know what, I'm a kind person. I do keep everybody in the forefront of my mind, but I can't do that at the expense of myself. And that's where the drawing of the line has to happen. Of course, you can think of other people. I just got done with a call. She wanted to join the program so bad. It was so uncomfortable for her to invest in herself. She is so used to being there all about her children, all about her husband, all about everybody doing and being the thing that they want her to be. And there is a codependency in that, where she finds value in what they experience from her, right? And we're all a little bit guilty of that. But when you can say, I love you and I want to do these things for you, and I will, and I committed to doing these things for you, I am going to shift how I do that and what that looks like a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of a different priority order, and I'm going to feed myself. I'm going to make sure I am supporting my lifestyle that I'm creating, which means change, which means not doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You've got to change things in your life. You got to change how you do things in the kitchen, how you wake up, your habits you do on a daily basis. You have the habit of brushing your teeth and brushing your hair and showering regularly and doing all those things, right? Well, then you got to continue on that path of creating those habits. And yes, you may be eating the same thing over and over. And there are going to be times where you're going to be able to change out those things, which was a lot of what I was going to discuss with a lot of you today. And I still can. I did a lot of interaction with a lot of you over the last 7 days since our last call. And, they're amazing questions. You guys have fantastic questions. I almost want to read them a little bit here because I did make notes. I should get into the notes. Okay. Yeah, there's even just breaking down meals, getting your macros in different foods, understanding that. I've explained to a lot of you about it, but I can also go over a few things that I do, and I stay within my macros and I choose different foods, and it all fits just fine, and it still supports what I'm doing. And eventually it just becomes like this second nature thing where you just, the more you do it over and over, the more you're going to just second naturally do it. So the ideas for breaking down your meals into different meals. So I looked at one of my meals years ago, and it had these certain macros, and it's a lot of the macro amounts are different for everyone. But that doesn't mean you can't make the same kind of recipe. It's just in different amounts. So if you guys all have some of you don't have that pancake or waffle, but a lot of you do, because you've either not gotten it and you're like, hey, I want that. Everyone keeps talking about it and I'm really curious about it. Love it. They can eat it over and over and over again and not get sick of it. But you can break that down. If it's egg whites and oats and chia seed, and peanut butter or nut butter, whatever. Some people have that, some people don't. Just depends on your desires, your goals, and where you're at, and your lifestyle. Lots of things take into consideration how and what I write in your plan. If you ever have questions about how and why, then please ask me, because I think that the more you know the why, the more powerful it is, and the more you will be able to make those choices for yourself and stay on track and still feel like you're living. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they're like, well, we're at the lake a lot and we had company. And so we had like pulled pork and this and that. And I'm like, pulled pork's fine. Pulled pork has a natural fat in it. So that's fine. You don't have to add your fat to it. If it's especially at the end of your day, which is, some people have the pretty typical carbs in the beginning, more active time of your day, fats more towards the end of your day. That is not necessarily for everyone across the board. We do have people that work night shift and things like that. So they're mixing carbs and fats and different times of day and things like that. But there's always a rhyme and reason to the madness. And so I'm getting a check-in from someone. So we are going to look at that meal. And you can ask yourself, okay, what do I know that has 20, we'll just find it in the middle of the road, 25 grams of protein, just that. And say you're like, well, I would like beef, but look up, Google, hey, how many calories are in extra lean ground, 100 grams of extra lean ground beef. 100 grams is a really good, like middle of the road amount. 100 grams, just go there. And then depending on what that says, you're going to either up the amount, or you're going to keep the amount, or you're going to pull back the amount based on what fits in your macros. But say the macros fit, but then we also have fat in there, because you saw protein, 25 grams, perfect. But it's got 5 grams of fat. Okay, no big deal. Say in our fat category in that meal, we get 15 grams. So just subtract and say, okay, I have room for 10 more grams of fat. What would give me 10 grams of fat? Well, I like avocado. Let's see if 50 grams of avocado, how many grams of fat is in 50 grams of avocado? So you go based off that and say we hit it right on the head. And then you'd be like, okay, I'm going to do 50 grams of avocado. I got my beef. You could do a taco style ground beef with taco seasoning. I love taco seasoning. That's calorie free. And you completely changed up your meal. And then you could do it in a lettuce wrap. You could add veggies, which are free macros. Some of you guys have heard me say free macros. Most amazing energy drink. It tastes like lemon cake. It is so, so good. I'm going to talk to you guys about that on Thursday. I did want to announce that I am doing, I'm doing that like workshop on the supplements that I use and I love. I don't necessarily, I kind of have more of a general thing of your guys's on your plans, and you guys can pick and choose and just try to make sure you fit what I wrote in. If it's a multivitamin, it's got a lot of that in it, and you just want to supplement with a little bit more vitamin D or a little bit more vitamin C if your multivitamin doesn't have that in it. But I'm going to talk about those supplements, and this is one of them, and it is amazing. It's the first time I tried the lemon. It is so good. So you're back to the taco. You got the beef, and we've got a little bit of fat in the beef, which is okay because I get 14 grams of fat in this meal. So 5 grams come from the beef, and then I'm going to put a little avocado because I love having avocado in my taco salad. I'm going to do shredded lettuce, which is a free macro. I'm going to do maybe just even some odd veggies, peppers, just whatever you might like. I even put asparagus because I just can saute it up, and the taco seasoning covers everything, the taste of everything. So just to kind of give it a crunch, and maybe even you could take that 10 grams of fat, and if you'd like to do a shredded cheese that has 10 grams of fat, probably not that much fat, But part of the fat count that you have left, you can find in a little bit of shredded cheese. So go look at the back of the shredded cheese, see how much is a serving, how much fat is in one serving, and subtract that from your balance. I hope this is making sense. So that is how you go about changing your meal, but making sure you're within the macros and you're not getting trace macros in an exchange of that food. Like salmon is great. I love that. Will not be considered a straight across protein without having to dip into that fat category, because it does have natural fat, good omega-3s. It's great. I love salmon. Your body is going to know exactly what to do with that and is going to balance your hormones, give you long release of energy. I love salmon. You need to take that into account. Shrimp, that's a straight across protein. It does not have carbs, it does not have fat, maybe tiny, tiny bit, but not enough to matter. The turkey, it has to be lean ground turkey, not ground, but lean turkey. And it needs to be the same amount of protein. Now, turkey has more protein per gram than chicken does. And those are the things that you're going to notice. So if you wanted to just duplicate one of those spreadsheets, like where you guys get your meal plan, and you can duplicate that, and then you can create a little cheat sheet of, I know this meal, I could do this, this, or this. I could do this, this, or this for that. And you can create your own meal plan by doing that. And it's not as complicated as you might think it is or might feel in your mind. So trust yourself. A lot of you have told me I had to do this because I ran out of that. Perfect decision. That was a great decision. You know, there's, yes, I want you to be on the meal plan, but this is still your meal plan. This is your life. This is your plan. And so if you know this is a free macro, I can do this, you have the freedom to do that. And so taking ownership of that is really important. If you happen to be going outside of your meal plan a lot and you're like, I'm not getting the results, that could be a problem. We need to talk about why we're going so outside that meal plan. How are you, Stacy?
Hello, I'm
Hi.
good.
Welcome.
Sorry, I'm so late.
No, you're fine. I was just talking about changing out your macros, and so you probably would want to go back and listen to the replay on that. But I've just come across a lot of people wanting to, and it's normal. A third week comes around for everyone, and it's like, here's your exchange list. But it's just,
Thank you.
yes. Yeah, you get that. You should actually have that by now, I believe. But yeah, you get an exchange list. But the thing I just caution is, first of all, you can always like take meals and separate the macros and make them into something else. I sometimes make my waffle that I combined all that together. I will scramble up the egg whites and have them as a scramble, put some salt and pepper on it, and then I'll put the peanut butter in the oats, and I will have the oatmeal in like a separate bowl and have it like that. So there's a lot of different, and you're staying within those macros. So there's a lot of ways that you can break down a meal. One of the greatest ways I was just saying is taco seasoning. Like you can turn lean ground turkey into a taco with a lettuce wrap. And if you've got fat in that meal, you can exchange the fat, make sure you're counting, you know, what is in how much of whatever you're exchanging it for, but just look up how many grams of fat is 50 grams of avocado. And then you can say, okay, about 7 grams of fat is in 50 grams of avocado. I can't remember. I think it's less than that. It's like 4 or 5. And so you can account for that and then take the difference and say, would I like to be able to try and even sneak in a little bit of cheese? Because I know cheese is kind of one of those things that people can get addicted to and they miss it.
Yay!
So think about what cheese, the macro that cheese is. It's fat, right? And there is some protein in there. And that's something I will say. The trace macro that I don't really worry about you getting more of is protein. So say for instance, cheese has some protein in it. I'm still going to count that more in my fat category. And if it puts me a little over in my protein, I don't really care because protein is what we want to get the most in anyway, right? So, and it's going to make us feel more
Yeah.
satiated, and it's really one of those macros I do not get worried about. The two that I do get worried about, well, not worried, but aware of, is the carbohydrates and the fats. And where do we stand with both of those when it comes to exchanging out a meal? So what I always think is really great, and you can create a spreadsheet of your own, just very similarly to what I have. You could even copy the meal plan that you have, create another tab in your documents in that numbers app, and you can play around with that. And you can create your own meal plan with the same macros, but just different food items. And that is
Yeah.
going to be one of the best things that you learn in this program, because it is going to be what carries you throughout the rest of your life. It is how I live. It is how I don't weigh my food. I just know it. I just know what my body can handle. I know if I want to drop any kind of body fat, if I want to lean up, I know exactly what I need to eat, or rather not eat, but keep eating to do that without having to be on a plan, without having to weigh my food. I just know. And that is just because of years of practice of implementing a meal plan, executing it to where I am getting results, and then exploring what other items that I could use. Peanut butter in the place. Sometimes there was a time where I was like, I just really miss peanut butter and I want it. And my last meal had like 14 grams of fat or whatever it was, maybe more in it. And I looked up how much peanut butter is like, can I get 14 grams of fat in? And I had it just on a spoon. And I was just looking at, I was just like in heaven, because I just loved eating the peanut butter. It tasted so amazing. And it had, of course, trace protein in it, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. That is going to just support the lean muscle mass that I have, and also make me feel more satiated to where I'm not going to get hungry. It was interesting. I made a post yesterday. I think you commented on it even, Stacy, was what exactly about the nutrition is the hang up? Like, what for you is the hang up? And I believe you put, was it at night, snacking before bed, possibly? There was a couple of
No, I'm the one that said, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm the one that said eating the same thing. I have a hard time eating the same thing over and over and over and over. So that's
Sure.
why this is so exciting to me, because I'm like dying for some different, food. And
Yeah. But you had such a great point though. You're like, but I don't want to change. I'm getting results and I don't want to mess that up. And so
right.
that is a perfect place to be, because then you're going to be that much more dialed in when you choose some other item. Would you like me to go into your meal plan and help you create a couple of different items?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
I would.
Let's
really
do that.
appreciate
I'm going to do that because this will help other people on the process of what they're going to do. So I'm going to bring up your plan here. What is it? Which one is it that you particularly want to change?
The asparagus, sweet potato, chicken. Okay. I'm eating it right now, but I'm just like, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
And once again, I still have that problem with, it's 100 degrees down here and I'm outside, and I just worry about it getting, spoiled. So I need something that can really go, like, be cool in a cooler, like, as opposed to be hot.
Sure. Okay.
or,
I like that.
you
So
know,
do you like tuna?
I do, but I have to have just a little bit of mayo in it. I can't just eat tuna by itself. And that's where I get hung
Well,
up with the tuna.
I'm okay with changing this meal from a carb meal to a fat meal. Does that make sense? You know what I mean by that? You know what I mean by
Yeah,
like, we have
yeah,
a carb here. We can turn this into, because we've got 26 carbs in this meal and about 30 grams of fat or of protein in it. But we can change these carbs and do like 14. I don't like to do much more than 14 grams of fat. In fact, what do you think? Do you like your meal 5?
that's the yogurt, right?
Yeah.
No.
No, the meal 6 is okay. Hang on. Are you doing
Oh,
the
no,
yogurt
yeah.
anymore? We changed
No,
that.
no, no. I didn't want the, I'm done with the yogurt too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I do like the meal 5. I don't think I need the fat as much at night as I would like to have it during the day. Um, if that's a, if we could
Let's,
switch that out a little bit, I don't
yeah.
mind a little
we
fat
should.
at night, but,
Well, I just
I
do
can do,
that at night because it's a slower release of energy, but we can definitely give this a whirl because, carbs give you that energy. And I know how active you are and how much you're going and going and going. When we take carbs away, you might feel a little dip in energy, but you might not. So I am totally fine with changing this meal into a fats meal. And would you like to do, let's see, we have 120 grams of chicken. Let me double there. Because I believe, do you know those tuna packs that have like 17 grams of protein in it? And like they're
yeah,
just room temperature?
yeah,
You could do that and but I mean, you can mix it all together if you want. So we could do 1 pack of the I think it's Starkist.
I've bought those before, but I just need a little mayonnaise, just a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, we will
I
do
don't need a whole bunch.
in a tablespoon of real, we're gonna do real mayonnaise here. I'm gonna look this up. I do use only one, how many calories are in 1 tablespoon of real mayonnaise? So that's what I do. I always just, and then I go to this site, Fat Secret, because it's just consistent. And I always want to make sure I'm consistent with what I'm choosing. So there's 57 calories. We'll play with it here. 1 tablespoon of real mayo. This is going to be, I think it's 17 grams of protein, which do you like egg, what, like boiled eggs? Do you like to put that in there? I do boiled egg whites in my tuna.
Yeah, well, I always did hard boiled eggs, but that would
Yeah.
include the yolk, but I haven't been eating the yolk, but, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we could do 1 hard boiled egg in there because that would give us 22 grams total of protein in there. So that's going to help boost up and beef up our protein. Let me change this out. It's 57. No protein really in there. Carbs like 3.5, which is okay because this is during a more active time of day. And that's only it's 4.9, so I'm just gonna round it to 5, okay? And in fact, because it's only, do you think 1 tablespoon would be enough, or do you want to try for 2? Because it's only 1 pack of the tuna. Would
Oh, well, I
one
usually
be?
double up those packs to get more protein. So, I mean, I don't know. I could probably just do one, but
Well, let's see what 1 is, and then we can just double the recipe. Let's see what then 1 hard boiled egg, which is going to give us 5 grams of protein, no carbs, and 6 grams of fat. And so I don't believe, I'll double verify, but how many calories are in one package of StarKist tuna in water?
I think it's 70.
70 what? Calories?
70 calories. I think it's
Okay.
70 calories for one pack, but
Just
I'm not.
wanted to make sure. I think you're right, because I've written this for, I put it in the wrong Google search. How many calories are in one package of StarKist tuna? Yeah, there it is. Yep, you're right. It's 70. And 17 grams of protein, right on that. And like a half of fat gram. So we've got 11 grams of fat and then 3.5 carbs, no big deal. Anything under like 5 to me is okay, even if it's a meal that we're pairing protein and fat. Does that kind of, I don't want to confuse anybody, but sometimes you just can't avoid it. And I would rather write a meal that you're going to be more consistent or like and deal with a little bit of carbs in it than try and fit so perfectly into this macro thing and then you hate it, you know? So
Yeah.
one hard-boiled egg, I just want to get that. How many calories are in one hard-boiled egg?
I think that's 72.
7.
70 as well.
78 it says. Let's see.
Yeah.
You're like, you know this stuff, don't you? I have so many
Well,
numbers that go through my head. 78. Okay. And this is a little lower. If you notice, it's a little lower calorie meal. So I kind of want to beef it up a little bit. What do you, how about, do you put pickle in there, even though that's kind of a free macro? What other things do you like putting in your tuna?
well, I would put celery, but that's kind of free
Yes.
too.
Yep, do celery. That's great.
I like red pepper in there too.
Good.
I like to put red pepper in just about everything because I can eat that raw. I like that raw,
Nice. Okay, good.
but it's not really beefing it up.
That's okay. I think what we could do to beef it up, because we're at,
I lose you.
no, I'm here. I'm just doing some
Oh.
calculating. We're at 200 calories for this meal. So I think it'd be safe to do 2 packets and
Yeah.
maybe like a tablespoon and a half of the mayo. Let's see what that looks like.
Okay.
So that would be 140. We're going to have like 32. We're going to have a lot of protein in this meal. That's okay though. And let's see. So that's like 85 calories. A little bit more on the carbs. That's okay. Like, it's like we'll say it's 5 carbs and then 10 grams of fat. Ooh, that's good. Then you can do your hard-boiled egg, and then you can do all of the other like fixins of the free macros to kind of beef it up a little. And if you like to eat it just straight out of the bowl, you can put it in a like a lettuce wrap, you know, those leaves of iceberg lettuce. So that's a 300 calorie meal. I like that. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And we're still, we're a little lower on carbs, which is okay. And, but we did make up for that in our fat. So I really like that. I think we have to keep a healthy amount of fat in our diet for our, to balance our hormones and for satiation, all of that. So I just changed, let me change the amount. I'm going to put 1.5. Can you see what I'm doing, or are you driving, or?
I'm driving, but
Okay. You'll see it in your you'll see it in your thing because I'm changing.
That's fine.
It.
So one question I have when we're talking about the macros, before I started with you, I was doing macros and everything, but I would make sure, I was always making sure like by the end of the day that everything was, like calculated out. In fact,
Right.
in other words, like, are we more concerned with each meal's macros, or are we more concerned with the daily total of macros?
Yes, that's my answer. Both. So there's an if it fits in your macros style eating, and that can take you so far. But what happens is there's a lot of room for error in that, and there's a lot of room for busyness, not being prepared. I went over on my carbs again, or I went under on my protein again because I didn't have this. It wasn't lined out. But if you have a
Right.
lined out plan, you are more likely going to get all of the things you need in instead of leaving it up to chance. That happened to a client of mine. Actually, Amy, she won't mind if I share. That's what happened with Amy. She got very, very far before we got together, and I started taking her coaching over. And she was doing if it fits in your macros, but then there would be like a week that'd go by, and she's like, oh my gosh, I totally went under on my protein. And she was not somebody that could go under on anything. We had
Right.
specific goals. There are things that we were doing. We are trying to grow some lean muscle. She needed energy. She was really struggling with energy. And so I said, we're not doing if it fits in your macros right now. You are doing this
Okay.
plan. You've got to do this plan. Be prepared. You can prep your food out. That's the beautiful thing about meal plan is you just know what you're doing, but that doesn't mean you can't change it. I just find that when you do the if it fits in your macros just randomly every day, there is so much error that can happen, especially if you're busy and you're less prepared. So yes, you can do the meal plan, and that's going to be really great. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to know where your parameters are because like you said, you're getting results, right? So what would happen if you were doing if it fits in your macros, and like 3 out of the 7 days that week, you totally blew the macros. You're like, my protein was 80 grams under. I went over 40 to 50 grams on my carbs. I'm sure, like, I just wasn't prepared. It's all I had, and I was desperate. Well, that's going to affect your results. It just will. So that's why I like doing meal planning. This is a little bit more dialed in program, but that does not mean you are not going to get to a point where you can do that. Like, I do that. I don't even count my macros, Stacy. I just know in my mind, I know what it looks like on a daily basis to get me this result. I know how to float and just stay where I'm at without going over and still enjoying Andy's ice cream and a pizza every few weeks with my kids. And you're going to get to that point, but when you're on a specific result driven plan, that is really beneficial because then what that does is helps communicate to me what maybe needs shifting, what needs tweaked, because if it's what helps the communication between us. Well, you've been doing this, right? And instead it's going to be like, well, I've done this that day. I can't help you. There's no hands are tied, so you will get there, and you can to some level do if it fits in your macros. This is kind of like a hybrid if it fits in your macros, when it's like you trade things out,
right,
for that particular thing. I've had to trade out my the nut butter that I had. My son ate it all and didn't tell me, and I was in prep, and I just had to throw some coconut oil on there, but it was less to coconut. Couldn't do the same amount. Couldn't do a tablespoon of coconut oil to a tablespoon. It's like half the amount for coconut oil. It's like a lot in 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. So I just did a half a tablespoon and it was perfect. Like, those types of things are very, very flexible and easy to shift while still staying on point.
And
Does
then another question that I have is, you know, some of my days obviously are more active than others. Some are super active, some are active. Like, and so my question is, like, on those super active days, should I do the midday meal with the carbs? And then on my less active days, do the midday meal with less carbs? Would that work?
I love that. I love that idea. That is such a great decision. Yes, absolutely. Because you're less active, your body is going to just, it goes after carbs first for energy. And so it's
Right.
like, yeah, I love that. That is such a great strategy. And then you get both. You get this variety. And not that you don't like chicken and sweet potatoes. It's just like an everyday thing. You don't want it. Then you can have some variety and you'll probably appreciate those food options even more when you're not eating it every single day. I could eat sweet potato and chicken every single day, but that's just me. It's just, I love it. Tastes so good. And I do different things with it. So, and different ways to cook your food, but you're like in your situation, you're gone a lot during that meal. So you need something that is going to keep, there's that element to what you're doing. So changing your meal to the fats meal, I think is a great option. You still have to keep it cool. If it's mayo, don't you have to refrigerate mayo? Yeah, after it's opened, you have to like refrigerate it. But you can 4 hours, you have a window. It's 4 hours that food can be unrefrigerated and still be fine to eat. And I know that because
but we've got a fridge at the barn. It's keeping hot stuff is my issue on those days, because there's no microwave there. There's no way to heat it up.
Just put it out on the blacktop because it cook here.
I know, but that's what I mean. I'm afraid it's going to make me sick.
Oh, I know. It's so freaking hot. I just had this whole ordeal with my air conditioning. I was sleeping at 82, 83 degree heat in my house last night. So yeah. The heat. But yes, that is a great alternative. Something that, and I eat chicken cold, I mean, you could, instead of the tuna, you could do chicken salad.
Well, that's my favorite. So I was already planning that anyway.
So there you go. You just have to choose a different amount. Different amount though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's not trading the same. Yeah, I mean, I love chicken salad. I love egg salad. I would do egg salad and just do all the egg whites and just make up the fats with maybe a yolk and some of the mayo. And I'd put all kinds of, I love egg salad. So those are such great options, gives you variety. There was something else. I mean, you could even stick the meal where it's just the protein shake. Do I have popcorn written on yours?
Yeah, we just recently put that in there and I'm happy about that.
Yes, it's a great option for you to do during that time you need to microwave. You could pre-pop it. You could pre-pop it and just have it in a bag ready for you.
Well, I got that Skinny Pop. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. But I'm saying if it's a microwave availability thing, then you can pre-pop it and it would be fine. You just do your water and your shake and you shake it and make it right there. And then there's your carb meal, so now you're going to have all these little meals, work really well in these spots, and you're going to be able to interchange them out, and you'll be able to go to restaurants and know exactly what to do. And like, this is how you do it. It's just applying it and going through the process of it and changing it out. And then still getting results. That's the key. Like, we stall out on results. We need to have a conversation and be like, okay, what's going on? And then you can tell me, well, this, and this. And we're like, okay, we'll just dial that in, or we need to take something away. Taking food away is like the very last resort I would ever take. I've never done that with someone. I've never taken food away.
That's what caused me to answer that or ask that question, because I'm noticing now, now that I'm over COVID and I'm in my full schedule again, my days that are more active, my hunger is higher. So that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm thinking that carbs should be in that midday meal to help with that hunger problem that I'm starting to have. And
I mean, you could still be satiated with the fat. The fat could actually try it.
We'll try it. We'll see.
Yeah, see what a
Um,
week of just doing that one meal that we changed it to does for your hunger, because it might
okay,
do what you want.
okay.
Because people,
And then I don't want to take up everybody's time, but
no, you're fine.
the other thing I mean, I'm very happy with my results. I think they're great. I mean, but once again, I'm looking at the scale and the scale's not doing anything, I mean, let's review that. I mean,
Okay,
because I
yeah,
mean, that is one frustrating thing. I mean, I'm very happy with 8.5 inches gone. And then, I mean,
yeah.
and people are saying, hey, it looks like you've lost weight, that's great.
Awesome.
But the scale says the same damn thing. And so I'm like, what the hell?
Is it like, am I just imagining these inches lost because the scale is not being congruent with what you think it should say? Is that like where our mind is going with that? Because honestly, I got asked this very thing last night. Someone had messaged
Oh,
me,
I'm sorry.
one of you guys, and she's like, okay, I know we do not need to be looking at the scale, but everyone's kind of getting tripped up on this. She's like, how tall are you? What do you weigh? Because there's like blogs and things like that. She reads that women who are lifting are not fitting in clothes and things like that. And my reply, I will tell you what my reply was, because it was a very aligned response. I said, I'm 5'6" and I weigh 150 pounds, which is not what people would think that I would weigh. And I find the scale literally just to be a tool that measures what your relationship to gravity is. I have for years worked on my shape, dialed in my glutes, quads, waist. I've relentlessly done vacuums to correct my diastasis recti. I've crunched my heart out to develop that thin layer of muscle we know as our six pack. I don't see it most of the year, but it keeps my abdomen firm and drawn in. My upper body, I'm constantly shaping my shoulders, lifting heavy and consistent to thicken and round the cap of my shoulders out. My chest, I do it for that too, at least the part you see on women. And that's what I mean, like this part right here. I have a secret move to develop that. In fact, I don't fit into the average pair of jeans. I have big booty, small waist, that only jeans made for bodybuilding women will fit me now. I usually wear all things stretchy and often will need to custom tailor to fit me just right, a certain item. But I wouldn't give that up for the world. I am in love with the process of shaping and building my body. The older I get, and the more time I stay consistent, the better it all keeps getting. I've never felt better in my skin than right now. And so the scale, I don't care. We can just not even use the scale. If it's tripping you up, a lot of the time I was like, I don't want to know your weight. It doesn't matter, because we're seeing it, we're feeling it, we're measuring it. There is water. Your scale could be wrong for all we know. Like it could be,
Yeah.
it could be not working right. Why are we going to put so much stock into this one little device that it doesn't serve us? It's not serving us. It doesn't make us feel good. It doesn't make us feel like we have a win. It does not matter what you weigh. Your tape measure, your tape measure is showing progress. And you're feeling it.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost. People are noticing and you are feeling it. Isn't that, what'd they do back in Little House on the Prairie days? They didn't weigh themselves. They just felt different. They looked different and they were fine with that. They were happy with that. Do you feel better? Do you have more energy?
Oh yeah, I feel great. And like I said, I'm not upset.
Yeah.
I'm just like, once again, I'm one of those science people. Like, what is the science behind this? Like, am I gaining muscle? Am I,
Yes.
is that the reason? I just want to know, like, what the hell, because when you go to the doctor, it's like, that's such a big deal. Like, well, you still weigh the same, you haven't lost any weight. Well, you have no idea. Yeah, I have, but
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
but that's,
No,
and
love
I
it.
want to talk to you about also, like, I want to start getting more of those results that you're talking about, the shoulders, the definition, the, like, I might as well, be able to see what the hell I'm working so hard for,
Absolutely. I mean, it's a process. It's like you're ready to dial that in. You're seeing some results. Isn't this the process and the phases that I told everybody? You make a decision, you get a plan, you see results, then you're motivated. That is the order of this process. And you just keep dialing it up and dialing it up, and it's steps and steps and steps. But you've got to go through every single step because your buy-in is here. You are completely in, and you know that this process is working. You just got to keep working it. And that's what I have done to get the results that I've done over these many, many years. So,
Right.
do I want to weigh 135 pounds? I mean, I don't care. I weighed 133 on stage at 7.5% body fat. I couldn't
Wow.
weigh 135 and be healthy. I couldn't. So,
Right.
if you really want to know what you're made of, then you find somewhere that does a very accurate body composition scan. Then you're going to know exactly how much is body fat, exactly how much is lean muscle, your bone density, every little bit. The symmetry, if your right arm's bigger than your left. I do that. I do those because I like to know that I'm gaining muscle. I like to see my bone density is not dropping over my as I get older. And I also love to know, okay, I know how hard I worked from last January to this January. What kind of a result did that give me? And the scale doesn't tell us jack shit other than our relationship to gravity. That's it. It's measuring so many things, water and muscle and tissue and all this stuff. Like most guys that go do the body composition, they would be at their height and weight. If they went to the doctor, they'd be borderline obese. And
Well, that's the whole point.
yeah, it's a flawed system. The medical, and it's never perfect. It's never perfect, but you know what that weight makes up. You know what you've been doing, you trust, you feel good. So they tell you you're borderline this, you're like, well, I feel great. I'm not having any issues. I am leaning up as we speak. I continue eating clean. My health has improved greatly. Like, who's going to argue with that? I mean, if someone wants to make a big deal about your weight on the scale, then they need to educate themselves on
Yeah.
what it is. I mean, it really is more to it than just a number on the scale. And that because you're living it.
Right.
You're living it.
Well,
And that's a big part of this process. And if you're ready, I will give you some more dialed in, more weight training, because that is what that is going to take.
go ahead.
You want to shape your shoulders. You want to I have an ab circuit that is coming, but I can give it to you early if you're ready for it. I've got all of these things that I am ready to release to you when you're ready. And it sounds like you're ready to take that on a little bit. You're getting results, you're getting momentum, you're getting a belief in it. And so I think it's ready to dial it up myself for you, for sure.
Yeah, let's rock it. Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah. All right. Well, then be looking in your document here soon, and I will give you some more weight training style things, because that is really where the rubber meets the road. And some people join the program and they're just not necessarily into that, not ready or wanting that. They just want to lean up, they want to tighten up, they want to get a little bit of tone that they already have. But if you really want to transform your body, you got to be in the weight. You got to be under weights. It's just how you do it. It's really how you do it. So, and I know you've got weights at home as well that can take you pretty far as well. So I think you're going to like it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's made such a difference in my results is getting rid of steady state cardio. And I mean, I'm really hitting the weights a lot more. And
oh yeah, it's definitely, and I'm guaranteeing you, you are transforming, you are growing muscle, you are dropping body fat. So how is the scale going to know? It doesn't tell you, well, you've got this much of this now and this much of that now. Oh, you're holding about 4 pounds of water because you had your treat meal about 24 hours later, but don't worry, that's going to fall off. It doesn't tell us any of that, but that is what
Right.
happens. That's what is happening. If you do your check-in and you just had your treat meal within 24 to 36 hours, you're going to see the scale might be a little up because your body is just holding a little water depending on what you ate. If you had something higher in sodium, higher in carbs, that just is. It's not going to make you gain fat by having one treat meal. Even if you went
Right.
balls to the wall treat meal city, it is not going to make you gain fat by doing that one time a week.
Right.
It's the consistency, just like it's the consistently eating the crap is what gets you where you don't want to go. It's consistently eating the good stuff that's going to get you where you go. It just has to happen on a consistent basis, whatever direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. I want to definitely send you some more of the weight training style workouts, but don't stop doing that hit. You know, that hit 3 or 4 times a week is also going to put your body in the fat burning mode, and it's going to just synergistically work all together. It is just getting every little piece and element of this to work and do all of this magic together. Alone, you can't outwork a bad diet, right? And you can't just diet and transform your body. You've got to blend these two things. And then I am going to I'll post in the group, but I'm going to talk to everybody about supplements, and it's going to be like a workshop on supplements. And I think it's very powerful. I do write supplements in your guys's plans. And up until recently, I just let everybody, and I still will let everybody use whatever brand they like and what they, love to do. But I write down what you need to at least be getting in your body. But I've been asked so much about the line that I use. I'm just going to do a whole Zoom on it because it's incredible stuff. And a meal plan with a workout plan and the proper supplements, it's a whole wellness. It's everything. It's all encompassing. And it's like hitting the times button on the calculator. It just together is like putting your plan and your results on hyper mode speed. And so it's a really great synergistic place to be. And I'm finally going to just share it with everyone, and you guys can choose what you want, and just know that this is all going a really great direction for everyone. And that's what this program was designed to do. So
Cool.
I will put the time in the Zoom link on our group here today. And when we're going to do it, it will be recorded though as well. So I can, if you can't make it live, I will be able to have the recording for everyone. It's not going to be super long. I want to say 30 minutes maybe. So do you have any other questions? I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of your check-in, not just that, but I'm also your mind and your mental is in a really good place. It's just going, not that it was not in a good place, but it's just even better. It's just going really, really well for you. So I'm very happy.
Awesome.
For you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Especially coming out of COVID, a little bit of a rocky start.
Well, I mean, it's not only that. I mean, I have a lot of stress in my life too. I mean, I've got a lot of family stuff, that can really take me away. And,
yeah,
I'm just still trying to do, my whole thing is I just do the best I can every day. And,
yeah,
that's, and sometimes that's
need.
not 100%, but,
rarely is it 100% for me, but
I know.
I deal with, I got stressors and stuff like that too, and family and ex-husbands and all that, and I'll tell you even the supplements particularly have helped me because they're like stress adaptogens. And it really, because you can get adrenal fatigue, and the things that I use build my adrenal system. Don't just give me energy, but it also helps build my adrenal system where I have natural energy that grows and builds over time. Because when we are under that kind of stress, it really can just give us exhaustion. And
Mhm.
that cortisol level that's released all the time is going to put free radicals into your body, and cleansing that out is a huge element of this process, because toxins and free radicals want to go into our body fat. That's where our body stores it, because that's where it's going to harm our body the least. But then say you're dropping body fat. Well, then where are they going to go? Where are those toxins going to go if you don't detox yourself? So this is like a cleansing and balancing and then building your body on a regular daily basis. And it's powerful. It is so powerful. And I don't think I could be in the place that I'm in if I did not have this as well. So I think you're really going to like it. It's really exciting to share. But yeah, I get that. And your stress, managing that and still putting yourself first and prioritizing this part of your life. I mean, this is your life. This is your life. And you're making sure you're in a good place for you maybe to be there for your family in times of stress and need. But it's important, however cliche it is, put that oxygen mask on, and then you can help everybody else. But we got to make sure you're okay first. Not just okay, but doing well. We
Right.
got to do well. So very good. Well, awesome. I thank you for joining us, and I'm going to post the recording on our group, and then I'll also put that Zoom call that we're going to do on Thursday night at like 7 is I think what our time is. So we'll get
Okay.
that out there. All right. Have a good rest of the
All
week.
right.
Let me know if you have any trouble with the changes that we've done or questions. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. We'll see ya. Bye.